Welcome, flip clock fans. What do we have here? Digital alarm clock by Sunbeam in the shape of a barrel. The model 85115 Digi-Time X. Well, you could get it at Christmas in 1977 for $888. And in 1978, it was still out there as the barrel-shaped digital clock. Now, why a barrel? And I don't really know. I mean, it might look good in a bar, in a basement, but it caught my eye. So here we have it. Well, the thing is, the clock was listed as non-working. The alarm's supposed to work and the flipper did not flip. I want to give a shout out to the seller. Daddy Does Deals is the name of his store. Really trustworthy seller. Got a really good deal on this clock. Go check him out. So we're going to check this out. It is a barrel-shaped flip clock. As we go through this, I want you to try to help me figure out what's wrong with it. So you can use your guessing powers here, or your restoration powers. Here's the registration card and operating instructions. One of these days, I'm going to mail one of these in just to see what happens. Sunbeam Corporation, Chicago. Here's our limited warranty, which is interesting because a lot of these flip clocks lasted years longer than I think they thought. If you ship it back, don't forget to tie it up with string. I don't know why they wanted to do that. Here's our service centers. I'd like to see if any of these are still active. That would be curious. But in any event, back to the clock. The clock looks in great shape. It looks minty. So we're going to get into it. Now, I do have one of these before, but I never did get into it. It was working. I just left it alone. Here's our label. Model 85115. Now, the interesting thing was on the bottom of the box, it did say copyright 1976. And you don't ever see that hardly. So, you know, this very well may have been made in 1976. It's a bicentennial clock. It's a simple matter of taking this button off here, gently opening up, and there's a little tab that's trying to catch. Nothing to it really. The knob stays in place. You don't have to take that off. It looks like kind of a standard flip clock. It's real clean in here. And you can see right away that's not a copal motor. But you see here it says Tokei.
Tokei.
Tokei was established in 1951 and produced a wide variety of clocks. Sales fell in the 1970. In 1974, the company applied for bankruptcy. Financial problems persisted. In 1984, Tokei was liquidated. Well, I've seen Tokei clocks. Tokei means clock in Japanese, clock or watch. But this is the first time I've ever had one. Well, the first time I've ever looked at one close. I do have that barrel clock, the other barrel clock. I didn't know it was a Tokei. So again, it looks really clean. The bulb is bright and shiny. And look at that. It's working. And flipping. So the motor's working. And again, the seller had put it forth as a clock where that wasn't working, but the alarm was working. You figure, well, why is it working now? And it could be that in shipping it got moving around. Here's a closer look at the motor. Now that hole, don't put oil in there. That's not what that's for. And it's sort of like a rivet situation that's holding that cap on there. But I really don't want to get in there. There's no reason to get in there. If I wanted to oil it, I would remove the cap here on the gearbox. There's just a simple screw and some adhesive holding things down. So that would be easy to get off and to get in there and oil where it needed to be oiled. But I'm not going to do that because the motor is silent and there's no reason to mess with it right now. So we're going to leave it alone. What's causing this? Why is the motor working? Let's check out the alarm. Like I said, he said the alarm was working. The flipper was not. The clock was not working. Now we see the alarm is not working. It should be sounding right now. Well, maybe he was dyslexic. He got it backwards. No, double check. It's supposed to be right there. It's supposed to be on. Nothing. Here's our little buzzer. This is supposed to be vibrating right there. So when the switch is off, when the button is not pushed on this switch, it should be sounding. So it should be sounding now. It's not getting power over to here. In the cold pull flip clocks, they have these white nuts, wire nuts that are crimped on, and here's just screw-on nuts. Now somebody could have messed with it, but do you think it's possible that this is just a poor connection? Well, after messing with it, we find out that's exactly what the problem is. Or was. So I tightened it up. Everything's working the way it's supposed to now. The Sunbeam Digi-Time X Model 85115 barrel-shaped case in wood tone finish with realistic stave and hoop design with simulated spigot. Now when you're looking at flip clocks on eBay, it's not always going to be this easy, and I'd recommend using the Dirty Harry method.
You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Thanks for taking the time.